Today on the Caucus, President Obama's challenge as he prepares to deliver a major speech on the Middle East.
I know when President Obama came here after his election to speak and to introduce himself and to reintroduce America to the Arab world, there was quite a bit of anticipation. To a surprising extent, that has vanished. President Obama, like America itself, is not very popular here. There's quite a bit of skepticism.
Part of the purpose of this speech is to reclaim a bit of the narrative on the Arab Spring. You've seen a lot of violent crackdowns from Syria to Bahrain to Yemen, and Mr. Obama's response to each of these has, in effect, muddied his message.
The Arab world, much more than even a year ago, is concerned with itself. There's a sense that Arab people are doing it for themselves, and nowhere is that stronger or more palpable than here in Egypt, and more of a kind of shrug towards the United States.
The difficulty is the administration still argues that you have to take each of these countries on its own terms, and that not every country demands the same response. So there's a little bit of a paradox here.
The question in people's minds, I think, is how will President Obama distinguish morally between a U.S. policy towards Libya, where the U.S. has backed a military involvement to try to bring down Colonel Gaddafi, and other dictatorships around the region where dictators like Colonel Gaddafi have used force to suppress peaceful protesters and possibly lost much of their legitimacy.
In the United States, bin Laden remains, a very emotionally charged figure for so many Americans, much more so, ironically, than he does in the Arab world.
It was notable to me, moving around Cairo, that event didn't particularly change perceptions of the U.S. or President Obama. I think for most people here, preoccupied as they are with the Arab Spring, Osama bin Laden seems like, if anything, a kind of echo of the past.
I think it's also important for the president to lay down a marker on the Israeli-Palestinian issue. He made it a major foreign policy priority when he first came into office to help broker a deal between Israel and the Palestinians. It remains a very important issue with Jewish voters, and I think he wants to show that despite 2 very difficult years, he hasn't given up on this and is still pushing for a historic agreement.